Hey guys, today we're going to be building a zombie deck just because, why not, I guess. So zombie right now is just like Giga shafted anyways. Not much we can do. In terms of support, it's like it doesn't really matter. So just to go over like what the cards do in general, if we were to go with like the zombie world cards specifically, we have like our copy of Uni Zombie, which reads like pretty insane, like essentially like a custom card, but somehow these cards actually cannot make any sort of play whatsoever. So we'll grab this. We'll adjust the ratios as we go along later, I guess. So Doom King. It's the king. Okay, so with Doom King Ballad Rock, we have a bunch of lovely effects. So Doom King Ballad Rock is honestly a pretty efficient card for a variety of reasons. So this can be a monster negate and then monster negate specifically for effect uh, on field or in the graveyard, and then we also have non-targeting banish a monster from the field or graveyard, and this just takes up essentially the field zone with our zombie world, and then we have Doom King taking up one of our main monster zones. So this leaves us with 5 other zones where we can put like monsters that do things in general. So that's pretty strong, I guess. And those monsters usually, if we have a lot of good ones, we can trigger Doom Kings, banish whenever we want. So that's in general pretty good. But yeah, the issue with the zombie cards is that they stink. They're really bad. So let's just do a sample hand real quick just to show this off. So let's grab a couple of Mizukis, Gozuki, whatever. Go grab like an immortal and let's try to look for a good hand, I guess. After we added Plague is probably the last thing we need to add. Well, not actually Plague, Mad Mauler, okay. So if we do draw 5 sample cards, we can only get nuts hands in here because I only put in nuts cards. Okay, so let's look for the best hand out of all these. I think this is about as good as it gets, so with this hand, what can we actually do if we have 5 engine cards? So first thing we can do is normal summon Uni Zombie, and then if this gets like hit by Ash Blossom Joe Spring, but we can't do anything, we can no longer play. So as you can see, that there's no extenders with this deck. So nothing we can do if we get hit by like any sort of interruption on Uni Zombie. It could literally be a Ghost Ogre and we would be cooked. Well, actually, if it's Ghost Ogre, we don't choose what we send, right? So Ghost Ogre is probably the only one that's okay, but only because we have this many zombie cards, right? I think we can. Can we? No, actually, no, we're still cooked. Yeah, never mind. I was thinking maybe we could send Gozuki, Bash Uni Zombie, Special Summon Mizuki, but that doesn't actually do anything. Yeah, great deck. Nope, we're screwed. And if we are left unchecked, what can we do? Our opponent has no response then. Okay, so normal summon Uni Zombie, we can send Mizuki, send Gozuki, special summon back Gozuki. Gozuki will then send something. Uni Zombie will be level 5 in this case, which is a really bad level. Then Gozuki will be able to either special summon the Banshee or the Doom King when we send it to the graveyard by banishing the Uni Zombie. So the other idea of what we should probably do then instead is here we can send Changshi, banish Changshi with the Gozuki when we send that to the graveyard. And then Changshi would be able to banish like probably the Uni Zombie in this case. For our special summon, special summon like a Banshee or Doom King. And level 9 is not really a good level for synchro summoning. There's literally nothing worthwhile to make. I've looked through every single synchro 9, and I can tell you there's nothing worth making. So the best thing we might be able to do is like to link them off for Vampire Sucker, which is pretty much the only like link to zombie that we can make at this point. And we probably don't get to activate Mad Mauler or the Sucker for a while, the Vampire Sucker straw. So Changshi actually special summons from Banished, then we can send a card, so we would send Mauler actually, and then target Changshi with a Mauler, and then make Immortal Dragon to send like another guy. So in this case, we'd probably special summon, I guess, the Doom King, and then send like a copy of Banshee from our deck. And then we have the ability to make like Baron with Zombie World, Doom King. So with our 5-card hand, we made essentially 3 interruptions. But with a 5-card hand, I mean, sure we have 2 Banshee, but this Banshee isn't really usable, I guess. Is that the thing? I suppose. Well, okay. And then we would draw. We wouldn't draw that. Oh, we drew Glow Up Bloom. Glow Up Bloom doesn't do anything. If we draw into a zombie, it's just dead until like the next turn, where we would have to like normal summon either like a zombie monster or a uni zombie to be able to like make some sort of play, essentially. So yeah, very simple. This concept here. The entirety of the main deck of like just every single zombie card just blows ass. The simple thing that we can look at here is not just that they're not 1-card combos. In fact, they are not even like 2-card combos realistically. The only 2-card combo we have with like this here, like if you look at this, the entirety of every single combination of these cards, which I know I have as an avid zombie player, the only 2-card combo you have is Uni Zombie plus Bloom, or Uni Zombie plus Doom King, Uni Zombie plus Banshee, Uni Zombie plus Zombie World. And that's the only thing you can do, essentially. And there's like a slight deviation where we can go through a bunch of summons to put Immortal Dragon in the graveyard, but it still essentially ends on Doom King Ballad Rock Pass. Well, that's the entirety of our like interruptions and stuff, right? We have Doom King Ballad Rock plus Zombie World. That's essentially all it is. So we could also like make Vampire Sucker for like a draw. That's the difference, you know, the next turn. If we maybe want the draw, you know, maybe if we want to do a little bit something else, it wouldn't be that much of something else. But we could also like technically have Immortal Dragon in the graveyard on the off chance that a zombie monster is destroyed by battle. Then we could special summon Immortal Dragon if that matters to anyone. Surely that will matter. That is so cope. But yeah. Also, all these guys, a lot of them are kind of like bricks. So if we just remove Unizombie from the equation altogether, how many of these cards actually do anything, especially in hand, right? So Mezuki, completely dead. What would we go do? Normal summon Mezuki, can't even link this off, can't do anything with this Mezuki. It's just a level 4 guy, might as well be a vanilla. Might as well have like normal summon Fallen of Albaz on the first turn. Why not? And then it's just a level 2 guy. That doesn't really do much. Banshee. If we normal summon this, we can activate Banshee effect to put Zombie World onto the field, and maybe it floodgates like certain decks, if they happen to be playing like Cybers or something, they won't be able to play really well, and we might be able to do like Mizuki Beatdown or something. Okay, cool. Shang-Chi the Spirit Dao can't normal summon this. To actually special summon this, you have to meet like a bajillion different conditions. So if we want to banish this, first step we have to banish it. So then that means we need to get Gozuki somehow into the graveyard to banish the Changshi, except that's not enough. We actually need another zombie monster to probably special summon in hand to trigger the Gozuki effect to special summon to begin with. So we actually need another card. So that's like somehow a 3-card combo, but Changshi the Spirit Out is a level 6 monster. How did it get into the graveyard in the first place? Did we have to use like a uni zombie to put it in? Okay, then somehow this has went from like every single time we look hard at these cards, we just need like another monster for something. But these cards don't do enough, essentially. You're losing to yourself by tempo, if that makes sense. Like, to do like this thing, you actually need to do this thing, which this card would do, right? But you also need one more thing, which this card cannot set up at all. And there's no card that really sets it up. So at bare minimum, we're looking at like 3-card combos or 2-card combos to just end on something like essentially that's close to Doom King Pass or like Doom King Baron Pass with like an ideal hand that's about all you could manage. And you can't actually use any of these extra cards as extenders, they're just dead in hand. That's kind of how it goes. But if you are interrupted once as well, you're completely just dead and you're just completely screwed. So the correct play that if you want to optimize this deck would be simply to kill off literally everything, pretty much, right? Min-max, right? And Immortal Dragon we can keep because this is actually generic, like completely generic for whatever reason. So the primary thing we're going to have to looking at doing here is to, well, actually, Changshi is like almost playable now because you actually do have the option of like going into SP. If this actually comes up, it'd be very specific, right? So if we did like horse and then we did the zombie vampire, if we open Changshi in hand or like we mill Changshi off of the zombie vampire, we have the option to link off uh, the zombie vampire with like a horse monster and then banish Changshi to trigger it to special summon or whatever. So that's technically like an option, but it's like kind of dumb, not that like great. And you'd need the Changshi in the graveyard for this, so it's like technically an option, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one. So yeah. Moving on. The best 3 cards that we really want here are Banshee, Doom King Rock, and Zombie World. Noticeably, Uni Zombie actually doesn't do anything with like any cards for the most part, and it requires your normal summon to do these effects, and you probably won't be able to extend after summoning the Uni Zombie. So, ideally we cut out Uni Zombie and we just play a different engine altogether. So, in that regard, Dark Grepher is really good because this can actually get the dark cards out of our hand. So notably, we get like the Banshee and Doom Kings out of our hand. Ideally, though, we're going to be playing this with Dangers as well. If we're specifically running Danger Nessie with Dark Grepher Danger Nessie combo, which is essentially going to be Dark Grepher is going to special summon itself by discarding Danger Nessie. Danger Nessie is going to add a card. In this case, we'll probably go with Jackalope. So let's assume we have this hand. We just have a Banshee, Dark Grepher, and Nessie. Then we can do the effect to send Jackalope. Jackalope can then special summon Mothman from our deck. And then if we open any of these cards, it's also fine because they're dangers. We can just activate them. And a lot of the dangers guarantee us a body, or it can potentially net us draw and a body, which is also fine. It's a little bit RNG, but you can kind of always have favorable outcomes with the danger monsters. But anyways, then after this we make Dugaris. Dugaris then has the option of special summoning back Dark Grepher. Dark Grepher is not hard once return. So we can actually Dark Grepher effect again to send another card. The first card we would be sending would the Jackalope, in which case we could use it to send either a Banshee or Doom King, and then we can just summon again. And so far we've only used Danger Nessie and Dark Grepher. Then we can just send like a Banshee in hand to send a different dark monster, and boom, bada ba pow, we have like a combo. So that's the basic idea of this engine. And because we're running these cards, all of the danger cards and the zombie world cards, we can easily small world bridge into everything. So it's not as bad if we were playing like Rhoda and small world to get into the Dark Grepher and Danger Nessie. So yeah, that combination works pretty well. And while we're on the topic of Dark Grepher, one of the cards that's really good for Dark Grepher are the Phantom Knights, just in terms of being like really good discards. The best one is the Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. We can discard Ancient Cloak, add Silent Boots, discard Silent Boots to then add Fog Blade later, so that's like 2 discards, and then we get a monster negate off of this. And we would still have quite a few cards in our hand, depending on how many times we, of course, like Danger, or not Danger, Dark Grepher. So that is one idea, but Dark Grepher, as you could tell, can like cannibalize some hands and needs a very specific deck build. So it's still like in general a good way to play Zombie World. I would say, like, just in general, right? But if we want to play this as best as we can, like, well, one other idea is if we just simply have Doom King Balrog and Necrolord Banshee, we can minimize it to 3 cards in the main, and then we can just have something else that's really worthwhile to send to the graveyard. But essentially, all we need to do is to play Beatrice. If we have Beatrice, we can send Banshee and Doom King Balrog, and then Banshee activates Zombie World, and Doom King Balrog will just special summon during our opponent's standby phase. And we just need a way to make Beatrice, and this becomes like an option, but making Beatrice is actually annoying, like super annoying in general, so like I couldn't find a really good way that's applicable to zombies that makes sense, so Beatrice, not really the play, honestly, but if we want to actually just focus on getting our main deck even more like uh, a little bit more consistent and reducing the bricks even more, like the garnets, we can actually cut out Necrowood Banshee. Instead, we go like Ancient Fairy Dragon. And then Ancient Fairy Dragon, assuming we're playing a different field spell, we can use this to add like Zombie World. And then the Doom King Balrog, we just have to get this into the graveyard somehow. It could be by whatever means necessary. So we could use like a Curious or something. I don't really super care. But the other idea here is just essentially we just put in the Zombie World in Doom King Balrog. If we did it with like a Curious, then we can just make Apollosa on top of this, and it becomes very hard to deal with, just in general. So yeah, in terms of like main deck efficiency, using Ancient Fairy Dragon with like some kind of archetype that would allow this to happen, this is probably the most efficient way, but I mean realistically you're probably going to have to use Banshee. I have not yet like completely labbed out all the Ancient Fairy Dragon lines, admittedly, but yeah. This is probably the general core you'll want to be like splashing in. It's definitely at least at minimum these 3 cards to play like Zombie World at all. But accessing all of these cards is kind of just annoying in general. Kind of irritating really. And not super easy to do. And if we do run Unizombie, then we need something that is very special summon heavy and would allow us to actually normal summon the Unizombie, which is something to really keep in mind. And this deck is just like off by like 1 tempo from being good, essentially. So with Hulk, even if we only had Hulk effect to just special summon the Glow Bloom, the deck becomes infinitely more playable. It's actually crazy, but yeah, having an extra deck monster be able to summon the Bloom really does make a difference, or like, yeah. Even if we had just 1 more Foolish Burial or something, like in the extra deck, that would be admittedly pretty useful, but it would have to be on a link, because on a synchro like Immortal Dragon, it becomes like not very accessible, which is, yeah, it's an issue. And Immortal Dragon is not like that super good, but the other idea is that we don't even technically need like a Beatrice or anything like that. We just need to be able to get to either the Banshee or the Doom King at some point, and also make the Mortal Dragon, and the Mortal Dragon will always, if we send either the Necrowold Banshee or the Doom King Balrog, this will always adjust itself to level 2, so that this would be a very good way to like make a Baron if we had certain levels of cards, right? So that's pretty cool, I guess, right? So we're looking at mostly 8 for a Baron if we want to go with this. But if we're playing like 8s at the same time, how are we getting into Immortal Dragon? So that's like a little bit of an issue in this case. So what we're mostly going to do here today, after just going over why Zombie World sucks, we're going to try a dumb build. We'll go with why not Blackwing, I suppose. I'll consider Blackwing at least. So if we do Blackwing, we can probably most definitely go into Immortal Dragon, but then would we be able to send also the Doom King and the Banshee? No, we would not. So that is no bueno. If we use the punk cards, we can definitely make Immortal. Is there any deck that can make Immortal without like going too out of the way, without like really suffering as part of their combo line, and then potentially going into a Curious? Seems really annoying. It's just not gonna happen, is it? With Blackwing, you are dark, synchro, locked, potentially, right? Something like that. So, actually, no, you're just dark, locked in the extra deck, I believe. Right? Yeah, by the submit. So if we get through this, we can make Immortal Dragon. We could still make like an 8 or something. Bullet Savage. That kind of idea. We can definitely send at least the Banshee, but not being able to send like Doom King is a bit of an issue. There's ideas of like Chaos Angel as well to bring back actually the Banshee. Or not Chaos Angel. Bestial Dispator. So then we could activate Banshee again the next turn. So that's also a thing, but it wouldn't really be a big deal. And then there's one giga insane tech you can do, where if we use the Doom King Balduroc as either like the starting card, just any card we banish off of Small World essentially. Like this could be the Small World Bridge for like our Dark Grepher. We can make Cypher and Gear Omega. Omega during the standby phase returns Doom King Balduroc to the graveyard, allowing it to be special summoned. So there's that play as well. And if we go through all of the efficiency issues, I just can't really find any worthwhile way to play zombies just straight up. There is nothing. You're just going way too negative to be able to efficiently do anything. We can try like a Dark Grepher build with probably, if I were to just assume the best option, it's probably going to have to be, I'd say, Orchis is not bad because we also have like the idea of Borlode Savage to follow up, I guess, but we don't really have like level 6 monsters that we can summon reasonably to make the Borlode Savage with. So that's a whole lot of nothing. And Orchis Zombie World, of course, is playable as we have demonstrated before in another video, but it's still not like that great. So if we wanted to make something even like remotely playable for ladder, it would need to be like very efficient, right? And all the zombie engines, like all the ways to get into the zombie engine, they're just simply not efficient. The best thing we could possibly do is to open like Dark Griffer with Danger Nessie. But like that requires so much engine, you don't have room for non-engine, leaving you with like a pretty heavy inability to go second. Usually you can be okay with that. During like certain formats, you're more able to do so with all the dangers and stuff. All of the engine, you can actually break through a lot of negates. So the issue primarily is if you were to get like floodgated, I guess. Or like, yeah, it's just floodgated mostly. Apollosa actually isn't that big of an issue because you run over it with dangers, and dangers can't be negated by like the Apollosa. So you're like fairly likely, it's not actually guaranteed because there's actually a chance that you have really bad hits off your dangers, but your dangers can run over like Apollosa as well, so that's worth considering. So if we look at all of the decks being played right now, this is probably the prime time to actually play Zombie World right now because we're looking at a Fiend deck, and then yeah, that's about it, right? Yubel. Yubel is probably being played a good amount now. So if we are going against Yubel, Zombie World is pretty strong, removing all of our opponent's Fiend monsters, preventing them from doing a lot of things in general. So they can still contact fuse from hand, but that's about it, right? So they can't contact fuse using stuff in the graveyard because it requires Fiends, which don't no longer exist because of Zombie World. So if we play for just going first, it's obviously not going to be great. But if we play for only going second, the deck is unplayable. So I guess we'll just have to make the most playable version, which is just essentially just 90 or 80% engine with some other cards. So right now, I guess we would want either like Bistros or we would want like Crow. So we'll try a very Bistral heavy version, and that'll probably be the play. So we'll go like this. Really investing into that Lubellion here. Lubellion here, level 8. and then it shares nothing in common with Doom King, which is actually pretty important. So we'll go with 2 or 3 Doom King, depending on how we're feeling, and then we want probably 1 of these, 2 of these, 3 of these. If we're really focusing on the zombie world aspect, these are the ratios we want to be playing for our zombie world cards, and I think we can leave it at that. And aside from that, I guess we could play 1 more Doom King, depending on how we're feeling, but 2 is probably enough. So then after this, we want Branded Regained to do a little bit of our recycling. Bestial Dispatter can recycle some cards as well. Might as well run it. If we can make it, like, if it comes up, right? And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 of each Bestial should be okay. I don't think we really need more than that. Next, we'll want to implement, I guess, the full Dark Grepher Danger package. And these are all darks for the most part, so that's pretty good. So, we'll want the Small World, Omega, Destrudo. Destrudo being really good for either like XYZ plays or your synchro plays. Then we have, in this case, we can afford a normal summon, so we can go Uni-Zombie. Maybe we'll consider cutting that later. We'll see if we do or not. Reinforcement of the army. I believe we want actually IP, SP, Zephyros, Dugaris, and then we also want all the danger cards. So we run 3 of Nessie, 2 of Tsuchinoko, 2 of Jackalope. This is like the minimum that we would want to be running. And then we have to go like probably 45. With like a somewhat reasonable deck, I guess. Unless we want to remove the Uni-Zombie, which we can consider doing, actually. So we have our copies of Called By, and we also probably want Gamma, because we can actually bait pretty hard with the danger cards. These people are greedy. And we'll be able to readjust in a bit. I think this looks about right. Yeah, okay. We'll throw in Branded Beast. Okay. So for right now, we're at 44 cards, and our consistency is going to be alright. Speaking of which, Rhoda is also pretty good because this can also add a Phantom Knights card, specifically the Ancient Cloak, which is really good with Dark Grepher, which we're not going to be playing that kind of line this time around. So then we have cards we want to run. We have Burn, Chang Ying, Sucker, Even Red. And the thing about the Uni-Zombie here is it's actually going to mostly be used as probably a synchro material for our synchros. Yeah. So, gotta check our levels real quick. 4, 3, 3, 7, 7. We need a synchro 7. So in terms of synchro 7s, there were like some decent ones, but I don't remember exactly what we were supposed to run. So we'll just do Dawn Dragster. I think Dawn Dragster is like fine. And we'll also maybe want like... Actually, I don't think there's anything we can do. Yeah. I think we're pretty limited in the things we can add here. So there's like Mad Mauler, I guess. And stuff like that, but I don't think Mad Mauler's that great. Well, let's grab Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord. And then let's grab Shiranui Sun Saga. Yes. Okay, so we'll want Sun Saga. Sun Saga will be able to recycle all of our guys and do some poppage, which is great. And they'll recycle all of the synchros we go through. Just whenever we need to. Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord will be able to special summon itself back, and also therefore be able to special summon the Sun Saga back. And we have a bit of a looping situation going on here. And I guess while we're at it, we'll go on like just to finish. Let's do Skeletal Dragon, Felgrand, and Apollosa, and this should be okay. And we'll just take it for a quick test, I guess. And the deck in general should be, in this state, just okay. I don't see it being insane, but it should be fine at the very least. So, Bestial Zombie World. And we won't bother doing accessories. Let's just take a crack at it. So let's go Solo Gates, Danger Files. This one's always the best one to do some testing on. So this build should be fine as long as we get a somewhat decent hand, which most of them should be. We have 6 primary starters. If we can see any of them, we should be looking great. We could play Changshi in this build technically, but we don't need to. Okay, this is fine. Let's try for the build I'm thinking, yeah? Or the play I am thinking of is going this. Let's try the Omega line here. So we're going to want Dark Grepher here, and with Bestial Magnemite. Things could be better, but it is what it is, I guess. We'll do as much as we can here. So here, adds this. Send this. And we'll go with what we got, I guess. If we threw in the XYZ armor and stuff, we could actually with this build because of Dugaris. Always consider that a little bit. Okay. So the play here is to either send Zephyros or we can send the Banshee now. And we can try like high rolling into drawing something better. We can still end on like the IP, and then we can go like SP with Doom King, and that's still something, right? That's not that bad. In terms of like extending further, I don't think we have like a super good way to extend. So just a matter of what we want to do here. Level 3. Oh yeah, we can make Immortal as well. So let's extend as far as possible. So to do that, we'll have to send Zephyros here. Jackalope, special summoning, Tsuchinoko. Zephyros, turn Tsuchinoko. Dugaris. Back to Dugaris. I think this was changed, by the way. I'm not 100% sure, but you couldn't actually use the effect of Dugaris to special summon like Dark Grepher unless you had a card in the graveyard. But I think you can now, because you don't have to declare before detaching. So that's new, I guess. Tsuchinoko. And this is the line we would do to extend as much as possible. So then we do Destrudo, Tsuchinoko. And here we would be able to make Curious. If we wanted to make Curious instead, we had that option. We also have like the Visceral Magnemite to kind of do that with. Since we have Magma in hand, we might as well use Magnemite for the combo as well. So here we'll just send this. Do we have the levels for this? I don't think we do. And also we have not yet normal summon. Not worth mentioning. So here, we don't have any zombies yet. Changshi is not worth running. Yeah, okay. If we were to make Curious, we would have to do that like now, which we can't. So yeah, it's definitely not the play. So let's just banish any danger, it doesn't matter. Banish the Zephyros, I guess. We could do that, but it's like whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So we do this. Magma effect. Go Omega. Inboard is not too crazy, but it's still okay. We can do this now. IP is probably the best bet here. And then we can also make Apollosa as well, but Apollosa is just not really good against this guy, so at least we have the Ash Blossom Spring for the card destruction. That is definitely in their hand somewhere. So, yep, cool. And here we want to add probably just the Druisworm because we can trigger that off of the IP as well. And we also have ammunition to essentially banish here as well. You know, just if our opponent doesn't have anything. This is a 3-card combo, I guess, which is fine. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not happy about that. Whatever. Danger Dogman, moderately annoying. Okay, I guess. Fun with that. Druisworm. We'll banish the Grepher so they can't return this to the hand. This was normal summon, so I can't trigger the effect to, okay. It's still fine. Can't trigger the effect of Bissell Druisworm yet, so we'll wait. Not a useful card right now. Okay. Danger Chupacabra will special summon a guy back. Perfectly fine. We'll wait one more. 50-50? Oh, they get it. Okay. So here, we'll probably just want to SP like this. Yeah. So SP with these two. And this also triggers Doom King. So we'll just do the banish now. And we'll just send essentially like 3 guys. Okay. Banish this. SP. 1, 2. We'll banish this, I guess. It doesn't super matter. It's a fact. Sending the Dogman. Then we will rip the last card out of their hand. Okay. Pot of Avarice. Wow. It's not even activatable. Okay. We have another Doom King in the graveyard, so we'll just summon that, and it should just be pretty quick and chill lethal. And the Banshee, we're going to have a Banshee in the graveyard next turn, so you would have to out Zombie Will twice in order to actually out it. Unfortunately, though, we cannot lethal this turn because we activated Dugaris as you do. We don't actually have the ability to link off because we made like SP. We don't have anything good to link off into here, right? We can make Apollosa, I guess. Might as well, I guess. Oh wait, different names. Yeah, no then. Unless we want normal summon Ash Blossom Dress Ring, it's not happening. Yeah, okay then. Just game next turn. If we make this better, we'd be able to do a little bit more, but whatever. Return the Banshee. Buddy. Okay. SP. Doom King can be chain blocked, but not a big deal. guess we'll have to banish our own card. We should banish the card from their hand as well, actually. Let's do that, actually, because I still have Cryo. Because I have a quick play. We can just put that back. Oh, I could have been using Branded Regained with, like, Omega. I didn't even think about that. Okay. Oh, right, they only have Pot of Avarice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, never mind. And this is actually out of our EMZ now, which is nice. Enemy is just lethal, so it's whatever. This comes back. Nothing like super interesting, I suppose. Well, we keep on experimenting, I suppose. I mean, this was one of the good hands. We didn't have Uni-Zombie, but yeah. This is what we can do with Danger Nessie. Technically, we could have extended even further if we were playing the XYZ armor cards. We would have gotten more interaction that way. And if we can get like 2 Dark 8s, actually, then we'd be able to XYZ summon into what's his face? The Zombie Stein or whatever. Didn't even occur to me, but I mean that runs Garnets and stuff. So I'm not so sure if that's actually a good play. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.